Diane Jenkins Abbott just woke up in a house that isn't hers, with no phone, no landline, and every door and window locked tight. And the man holding the key to her freedom might not be who he says he is at all. If you've been watching The Young and the Restless over these past few weeks, you already know something has felt deeply wrong in Genoa City, and now the show is finally starting to answer the question everyone's been asking. Who exactly is Dr. Lawrence Markham? Is he a legitimate psychiatrist caught up in someone else's scheme, or is Genoa City's most dangerous family playing host to a killer wearing a stranger's face? Stick around because this story has taken a turn that longtime fans of this show are going to recognize immediately, and it is not good news for Diane. For anyone who's newer to the show, a little context will help this story land with the full weight it deserves. The Young and the Restless has been a cornerstone of daytime television since 1973, and across more than 5 decades it has built a reputation for weaving soapy melodrama with genuinely twisted psychological thrillers. The Abbott family, led for years by patriarch Jack Abbott, has weathered just about everything a soap opera can throw at a family: betrayals, business wars, kidnappings, and more than one imposter pretending to be someone they're not. Jack's love life alone could fill an encyclopedia, but his on-again, off-again marriage to Diane Jenkins has been one of the show's defining relationships for years. Diane has a complicated past of her own. She spent decades as one of the show's most notorious schemers before eventually reforming, marrying Jack, and trying to build a stable life with him. That stability took a brutal hit recently when Diane discovered Jack in bed with his unstable ex-wife, Patty Williams. A moment engineered, as it turns out, entirely by Victor Newman as part of one of his manipulative power plays. Jack insisted he'd been drugged and set up, but Diane wasn't ready to hear it. She moved out of the Abbott mansion in mid-March, and Jack has been trying to win her back ever since. Then Diane went quiet. The last anyone heard from her in Genoa City was a May 14th voicemail to Jack, where she admitted she was hurt and confused but hinted she might still want to find a way forward. After that, nothing. She vanished from her hotel room and from her own life, and for weeks, nobody could explain where she'd gone. To make matters even stranger, sharp-eyed fans noticed Diane appearing perfectly fine on Beyond the Gates, the CBS spin-off that occasionally crosses over with Young and the Restless, attending a political fundraiser with Jack as though nothing were wrong. That contradiction wasn't a storyline error, by the way. It's simply a result of the two shows filming on different production schedules, so the timelines don't sync up cleanly. But it did add to the eerie sense that something didn't add up about where the real Diane actually was. Now we know. This is where the confirmed story picks up, and it is genuinely chilling. Veteran actor Jerry Burns, known to television audiences from Justified, Breaking Bad, and FBI, made his daytime debut on the June 15th episode as Dr. Lawrence Markham, and the character's introduction answered the mystery of Diane's disappearance in the most unsettling way possible. Diane wakes up inside Markham's house with absolutely no way to contact the outside world. No phone. No landline. Every door and window locked. She insists to anyone who will listen that she is not having a breakdown, but the people orchestrating her situation want the world to believe otherwise. Patty Williams meets Dr. Markham at the Chancellor Park Cafe, confirms that everything is going according to plan, and hands him money, all but confirming she hired him to keep Diane exactly where she is. When Jack and his sister Tracy confront Patty directly, Patty claims Markham is simply the doctor who helped rehabilitate her, and that Diane is safely in his care while she works through a supposed mental collapse. Neither Jack nor Tracy buys it for a second, and honestly, neither should you. Here's where the story gets genuinely spooky for longtime viewers. While exploring the house she's trapped in, Diane spots a shelf lined with books written by Dr. Alan Loron, and that name should set off alarm bells for anyone who's followed this show for a while. Alan Loron was the psychiatrist who once treated Ashley Abbott, before his psychotic twin brother, Martin Loron, murdered him and stole his identity to torment the Abbott family from the inside. It's one of the show's most infamous long cons, and the fact that Markham's house is stocked with Alan's published work is not a subtle detail. Fans and entertainment outlets have been quick to point out that Markham bumping into Tracy early in this storyline carries extra weight too, since Tracy was the person Martin fooled years ago while posing as his brother. When Tracy ran into Dr. Markham in Genoa City for the first time, she told Jack there was something dark and sinister about him, And given her history with this exact kind of imposter, that instinct feels like more than just soap opera paranoia. This is where we need to be clear about what's confirmed and what's still speculation, because there's a real difference between the two right now. What's confirmed? Jerry Burns is playing Dr. Lawrence Markham in a multi-episode arc that began June 15th. Patty is paying him to keep Diane isolated and controlled. Diane is being told she's suffering a breakdown that, as far as we know, isn't real. And the show has deliberately surrounded this character with visual callbacks to the Alan and Martin Laurent story. What speculation, fueled by fans and entertainment writers piecing together the clues. The theory that Dr. Markham could actually be Martin Laurent himself, having undergone plastic surgery to hide in plain sight and settle old scores with the Abbotts. That theory picked up even more steam when Diane, trying to charm information out of her captor, asked Markham about his astrological sign, and he told her he was a Gemini, the sign of the twins. Soap opera fans know better than almost anyone that a detail like that rarely makes it into a script by accident. Patty herself once got extensive plastic surgery to resemble her own psychiatrist, so the show has already established that this kind of transformation is entirely within the realm of possibility for this universe. Whether Y&R is genuinely building toward revealing Markham as Martin in disguise, or deliberately planting these clues to make fans think that, only to pull the rug out with a completely different twist, is something nobody outside the writer's room actually knows yet. The reaction from longtime viewers has been immediate and, frankly, a little divided. Some fans are thrilled to see the show potentially revisiting one of its most memorable villains through a fresh disguise, especially given how well Christopher Cousins played both Alan and Martin Laurent originally. Others have pointed out the uncomfortable parallel between what's happening to Diane now and what happened years ago to Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers, who were once held and manipulated by Martin Laurent in a similarly clinical, controlled setting. If the show is echoing that story on purpose, it suggests the Diane plot could escalate into something much darker before it resolves. There's also plenty of chatter about Susan Walters and Jerry Burns reuniting on screen decades after co-starring together on the 1980s NBC sitcom Dear John, with Walters telling TV Insider she was thrilled to work with him again and calling him a fantastic scene partner. That real-life history adds a layer of anticipation to a storyline that's already generating buzz across soap opera forums and entertainment coverage. So what could this mean going forward for the show? If Dr. Markham really is revealed to be Martin Laurent in a new identity, it would mark one of the boldest long-game reveals Young and the Restless has attempted in years, tying together Patty's ongoing instability, the Abbott family's history with the Laurent brothers, and Diane's current captivity into one sprawling, multi-generational plot. It would also raise serious questions about how much control Patty actually has in this situation, since a theory floating among fans suggests Markham might have his own agenda entirely separate from whatever Patty believes she's paying him for. If he turns out to be more dangerous than a hired accomplice, Jack may be racing against a threat far more calculated than his unstable ex-wife. On the other hand, if the show is intentionally leading viewers toward a red herring, the eventual reveal could shift the entire narrative in a direction nobody's currently predicting, which would be a classic Young and the Restless move. Either way, what's undeniable is that this storyline has reignited exactly the kind of suspense that's kept this show running for over 50 years. A woman trapped with no way out. A mysterious doctor with a suspicious reading list. A scorned rival paying for silence. And a family that has been burned by exactly this kind of deception before. Whether Dr. Lawrence Markham turns out to be a stranger with his own twisted motives or a familiar face from the show's past hiding behind a new one, Diane's fate, and possibly Jack's understanding of who he can actually trust, hangs entirely in the balance. We'll be watching closely as this story unfolds, and we'll bring you every confirmed update the moment it happens. In the meantime, we want to hear your theories. Do you think Dr. Markham is secretly Martin Laurent back from the presumed dead? Or is Genoa City dealing with an entirely new threat we haven't seen coming? Drop your predictions in the comments below, give this video a like if you're just as hooked on this mystery as we are, and subscribe for more Young and the Restless news, spoilers, and cast updates as this story continues to develop.